Welcome back to the Principles of Seven, and I'm your host, Dave Sharp. In our last video, we covered the protection order with Dr. Chopin and Mary Lanning and David Zeckman. And tonight we're going to take a little side road that leads to a very big place. There's secrets that are happening here in Hastings. Things that people just don't understand and things that people just don't know. And we're going to change that. We're going to change that partially tonight, but in a big way. Update with Mary Lanning, Dr. Chopin. Things are actually moving along quite nicely. And Dr. Chopin and I will be doing a in-person interview here very soon. And tomorrow, I want to announce that I'm going to be doing a recording tomorrow with a patient of Mary Lanning. And she has a story that she wants to tell. Very amazing person, especially when you understand what her children does for this country. Serving it in the way that they do. It's her story is an absolute tragedy, and it's going to lead you to a place to where you find out that a person practicing medicine inside of Mary Lanning told her she needed to get out for her own life. And I wouldn't be saying that if it hadn't been vetted and proven. So we got some big things coming up there. I'll have that video out hopefully tomorrow night. It might be a little bit late, but I will get that story out. But tonight, we're going to take a little detour so that we can understand what else is happening here in Hastings that also involves some health care. So without further ado, let's get to some of these secrets that people are unaware of. But I can promise you that there are some people that are very aware of it. That's a fact. And we'll get to some of that tonight as well. But without further ado, let's get her done. Hey, Trace, can you bring up the New Jersey Comptroller? Thank you. So, this is an investigation of fraud, waste, and abuse in New Jersey, you say. I thought we were talking about Hastings, Nebraska. Buckle up. Medicaid Fraud Division Report. South Jersey Extended Care. This is the Office of State Comptroller. This is the Auditor of the Public. That would be the equivalent here in Nebraska. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing because, as you can see by all these pages, this is a very lengthy report. But we're going to get to specific parts of this, and the people are going to become very important. So let's go. I'll read some of the executive summary. The Office of State Comptroller conducted an investigation of South Jersey Extended Care, a for-profit nursing home located in Bridgeton, New Jersey, covering a 5-year period from April 1st, 2018 to March 17th of 2023. The investigation revealed a pattern of waste and abuse of public funds, financial mismanagement, disregard of federal and state oversight requirements, and substandard care. It also covered a scheme by those in control of SJEC to misrepresent their roles and involvement in the facility to avoid scrutiny and maximize their profits. Remember these names, ladies and gentlemen. During the investigation period, SJEC was owned by Mordecai Mark Wise and managed by Steven Krausman through his company, Comprehensive Healthcare Management Services, LLC, Michael Konig, related by family ties to both Wise, who was his cousin, and Krausman, his brother-in-law. They helped operate SJEC as its administrator and served as a key vendor, providing a range of goods and services to SJEC through his company, Broadway Healthcare Management, LLC, and other entities he owned and controlled. Konig had previously owned the nursing homes until approximately 1997, but transferred ownership to Wise and thereby evaded scrutiny from New Jersey, after being forced out of multiple nursing homes he owned in Massachusetts and Connecticut. The investigation revealed that Wise was a straw owner of SJEC, with Krausman and Konig in full control of SJEC's operations, administration, and finances. They entered into multi-million-dollar inflated cost contracts with businesses they owned and controlled for goods and services their companies substantially failed to provide. Over the review period, SJEC received $35.6 million in Medicaid funds, but spent $38.9 million on contracts with entities owned or controlled by Krausman and Konig. They were funding themselves. So this report goes on, details out more about the operation in New Jersey, and we'll talk more about that. Right here, what you'll see is that these included serious issues such as neglect, abuse, unsanitary conditions, and inadequate medical care. So when you go through this, what you find is that they were understaffed 100% of the time, with not having RNs, and the things you're going to hear about that happened in these nursing homes are going to curl your toes, especially when you find out how this is all connected to Hastings, Nebraska. So, while SJEC financially crumbled, its owners, Mark Weiss, and controlling parties, Krausman and Konig, profited handsomely. Weiss took $1.3 million out of the nursing home in distributions, and Krausman and Konig's businesses collectively allocated $45.5 million in profits to themselves. They accomplished this by charging inflated prices for goods and services to SJEC. And what you'll find out they did, because I'm not going to go through all of this, like I said, is they're creating these LLCs and they're hiring themselves at nursing homes that is understaffed. And you're going to read later, they didn't have enough food for the residents. A lot of people was hurt for many, many years. For many years. It's unbelievable. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to get to the nuts and the bolts of the situation. So SJEC, which is one of these nursing homes, was a 167 bed nursing home, 110 residents. Many residents housed at the facility have been diagnosed with mental illness. People who aren't going to be able to report what's happening to them or what's being charged for them. Okay? Don't forget the names, Konig and Krausman. Michael Konig, Steven Krausman. Weiss, Steven Krausman. Throughout the 5-year period of OSC's investigation, SJEC was managed by Steven Krausman through an entity he owns, M&A Comprehensive Health Management Services. Konig was an original owner of Comprehensive, but Krausman told OSC he took over the business sometime around 2000 with respect to SJEC. Krausman explained that Wise is the owner, but he hired me to run the business for him. An explanation that, although technically accurate, appears intended to mislead given that all the indications are Krausman and Konig effectively hired themselves. Straw ownership is where you pretend like somebody else owns it while you still retain control. That's what they proved that Michael Konig and Steven Krausman did. So let's get down here to the part that brings us to Hastings. If you appreciate the secrets that we're uncovering here and the information about fraud, corruption, and things that are just downright wrong, please just take a second to go down and click subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'm going to keep bringing you the things that you didn't know. And all I ask in return is to help this channel grow, because some of the things that I'm talking about are going to get shadow banned, censored. I can guarantee that, especially where this is going. Like I told you, this is the tip of the iceberg. So if you would just take a second and please subscribe and leave a comment, give me a thumbs up if you want more of this content. I've put a lot of time into this. I've gathered documents from so many states, and I'm bringing you the proof. I'm not just telling you, I'm showing you, and that takes time. It's free to subscribe. It costs you nothing. Just about 30 seconds of this video. And don't forget to click the bell, and then click all, so that you know when we post next. So, this is the structure that they're showing. Together, Krausman and Konig were responsible for everything that happened at SJEC and everything that did not. Collectively, they had authority to enter into contracts, control costs, pay vendors, hire and fire staff, and make or authorize facility improvements. They controlled all of the resources and possessed all of the authority necessary to improve the facility's star rating and financial condition. They were a 1-star. And they never changed, regardless of how much money was given to them. So now, let's get here to the overlapping businesses, because this is where we get to Nebraska. Similarly, starting right here. Similarly, in describing his business relationship with Krausman, Konig testified that there was no formality, and that because we've known each other for so many years, we will offload some things on Comprehensive, and they'll offload some things on us. He also explained that he and Krausman and their staff had been together for very many years, and there was no line of demarcation, so to speak, between their businesses, and he clarified that he was not speaking about Broadway healthcare. There were entrenched companies that they operated as a consolidated entity, both in New Jersey and elsewhere. In addition to their nursing home related businesses, Krausman and Konig, along with Weiss, in some instances, also had other interests in other for-profit and not-for-profit, including TCR. Remember that, a holding company, TCR. We're going to get into that. A commercial property in Pennsylvania, a meat processing plant in Nebraska, and several nonprofit organizations and foundations that collectively had hundreds of millions of dollars in assets. So if we come down here, we're looking at Steven Konig, we're looking at Robert Konig. Remember those names? Broadway Healthcare, Total Corporate Resources 2. Now, this is Steven Krausman, who's the president of TCR. Remember that. So, what you go on to find out is they've tried to transfer this into somebody else's name once again so that they can continue to be straw owners. And the state of New Jersey stopped it because they found that they were connected to a church here in Nebraska. And it was effectively their own money that they were trying to claim, and a debt. So, with that, I'm going to pull up now the connection to Hastings, Nebraska. Trace, can you bring up split screen? Perfect, Trace, thank you. Okay, so we have a formation of a church. This is 12/7 of 2012. This is a church called the Congregation Bnei Shmuel Gavriel. This church you're going to come to find out when we get down here. Remember this name, Fischel Ziegelheim. That's going to become important. You'll remember that name. So this church began here. Now, I want you to remember this name right here. This is the congregation. Right? Now, so here's what we're on right now. We are on the Philanthropists Charity. This is the 990 form. So we're going to get down here and let's make this a little bit bigger for you. Perfect. So here we are with Michael Konig. He owns this. Now let's get down here to page 10. Here we see that exact same church at 1009 West M Street here in Hastings, Nebraska. It's a church. And this is the, we'll go back up and look just because I want you to see it. Because I've been tracking this for a long time, actually since 2012. So this year, note that there was $5,050 put into this church at 1009 West M Street. Now, some of you might be wondering, where is 1009 West M Street? Well, you remember when they were talking about a meat plant? That's what it is. That's 1009 West M Street. That's where the church is. And those articles are telling us exactly what they can and can't do. So let's go here. Let's go to the deed. This is for, let me make this bigger so you guys can all see that too. So remember the name Total Corporate Resources? And it's owned by somebody with the address of 7 Rolling Hill Lane, Lawrence, New York. You're going to come to find out that that's the address of the person who signed this here for 516 North Hastings. Let's get down here and see who that was. Would you look at that? Steven Krausman, Total Corporate Resources. Okay. That's silly. Let's get down here and let's see some of the things that happened. Okay, so here we go. One news article from that time stated New Jersey businessman Michael C. Konig bought 11 troubled nursing homes in Massachusetts and Connecticut at a fire sale, 1992, and arrived in a chauffeur driven limousine. With an entrepreneurial spirit that eventually proved his undoing, in less than 3 years, Konig has built a track record of poor patient care in both states. Some of his homes have earned the reputation of being a dumping ground for patients who were mentally impaired or suffering from dementia and had no relatives to search out a better place for them. News articles also reported multiple failures by Koenig-owned nursing homes in Massachusetts to protect residents from sexual and physical abuse and or provide them with even the most basic of needs required under law. Inspections found that rampant sexual abuse of patients, including a male patient who had been sexually assaulted by a female resident with schizophrenia 5 times in a matter of a few months. Male patients who were seen by inspectors on several occasions fondling and exposing themselves to mentally disabled female residents and attempting to force sex on female residents even while horrible, even while they were eating in the dining room. A male resident with Alzheimer's who was found fondling the breast of a female patient. There are some indications that Krausman was also involved with Koenig's facilities at this time. For example, Krausman was interviewed by a reporter in connection with a story about employees at one of the Connecticut facilities passing out leaflets criticizing Koenig's new ownership. Krausman identified himself as an associate of Koenig, blamed it on the employees, stating, "We're setting higher standards than the facility may be accustomed to, and some of the staff are just not willing to go along with those expectations." Gets down here, you find out that an 86-year-old woman who died when she fell while being moved from a chair to her bed by facility staff. A blind patient was found to have repeatedly fallen while going from her bed to the bathroom. She was found several times on the floor near the toilet after trying to sit on it. One such occasion, she cut herself, and on another occasion, she broke her leg. Residents who did not need nursing services, including individuals from jails and homeless shelters, were improperly admitted to fill beds. There was a lack of supervision once these individuals were admitted into the facility. Residents suffering bodily harm by other residents, including punching, hitting, pushing, and hitting with objects. These are the kinds of things that was going on in these nursing homes. And I want you to, this part right here, male patients who were seen by inspectors on several occasions. By inspectors. That means this is happening while the inspectors are there. That's unbelievable. And now we see their names right here in Hastings, Nebraska, and there's a church at a meat plant. Now, I can tell you, I have a litany of documents. Right here, this is the New York Department of State. This is the filing for total corporate resources too. It's going to show you the 7 Rolling Hill Lane in Lawrence, New York. We've already seen whose that is. That appears to be Mr. Krausman. And we've already seen 1 year of money going into this church, right? So this is Nebraska Taxes Online, total resource. Here's that again. So this address here. Well, we know what this is. This is the apartments. That's also tied to the meat plant. So what you're seeing so far is a connection that a lot of people don't know and a lot of people don't understand. What happened at these nursing homes, and I'm going to scroll back up here so you can search it for yourself. And I want you to just read through it. It will blow your mind. And to hear them call out a meat plant here in Nebraska. And then to find out that there's a church that has millions of dollars flowing through it that's listed as a meat plant. And the amount of money that we're talking about from 2012 to it's over $115 million has flown through that church. So how do we wind up from New Jersey to Hastings, Nebraska? What's going on? What's going on with this healthcare fraud? What are they doing? What are they doing in Hastings? What else are they hiding? Just like they hid in this report. Now, you can see up here, I have all kinds of things that are going to take you back to the same people that are listed in that report. 1009 West M Street. So we know, I'm just going to click through here and I'm going to show you what we got. We've got the incorporation dates. We know when it began. Here's the church. Here's your directors. Here's your president. Here's your secretary, your treasurer, and your director. Your director here. That's pretty funny. So how do we account for $115 million? And that also includes a $10 million grant from USDA. Hastings Community Block Development Grant. Look at the money. Follow the money. That's what they always say. So, obviously, there's more to the story. of how they wound up here, right? And what I'm telling you right now is just the tip of the iceberg. So stay tuned. Do your research. Read that document. New Jersey Comptroller, Michael Konig, Steven Krausman. That's all you got to put in. What's going on in Hastings? What's happening with Dr. Chopra? What's going on with healthcare? Is there more fraud, waste, and abuse? I guess we're going to find out, aren't we, Hastings? Mary Lanning, let's have a conversation. I think it's a good idea. Let's fix some things. You care about healthcare. Let's be a part of the solution. God bless you. Take care of one another. Be good to one another. And we'll talk soon. God bless.